you waiting, huh?
Hello everyone, this is Seskinator11, and this is my Spire of the Watcher solo flawless run on Titan without using any seasonal mods. As you can see here, me hovering over my entire Titan build, we are going to be running the Sunbreaker Titan subclass. I'm going to be using Malicious Birthright, I'm going to be using Retrace Path, and Sleeper Simulant as my weapons. And if you'd like to pause the video to look at all the mods that I'm using, you'll see that I'm not using any seasonal mods, and that's purely to add a little bit of challenge to this run. Even though running solo flawless can be very intimidating to some people new to Destiny, but I have been running solo flawless for the past few dungeons now, as seen on my channel, and I purely do it just to see if I'm able to do it, just for a challenge. But this one, I wanted to spice things up a little bit, and not give myself the ability to use any seasonal mods. Because the seasonal mods are kind of cracked this season, in Season of the Seraph. And now this can hopefully be viable for future seasons to come. For the viewers out there, and for them to get any sort of benefit from this. But anyway, my retrace path that I'm using right now, it has Subsistence and Frenzy, and they are not enhanced because I didn't have enough materials. I ran out of materials, and I do not desire to farm any of these materials throughout the rest of the season, because this is going to be my last season of Destiny 2, folks. Believe it or not, this will be my very last season of Destiny 2, and the reason for that is because I am burnt out. I am fully burnt out on this game. It is the same grind over and over. I understand that it never used to be like this in between seasons in the past. Oh, by the way, here's the Tumbleweed of Doom that I'm honing in on with my ADS. I've heard many good things about that Tumbleweed of Doom. People dying to it if you get hit by it, which is quite hysterical. I love that Bungie threw that in, just to be funny. But yeah, I immediately go for the Minotaur there. I'll go back to what my point was before, once I'm done speaking here, folks. If I can remember it, that is. But yeah. I go for the node here. You run this enough, this beginning section a few times, you'll know where all the nodes are, and I highly recommend doing that for those who are not familiar. And if you do practice runs like I did, which I have failed, I want to say a good 10 times, if not more, on my solo flawless attempts for this dungeon. Although this is probably one of the easier solo flawless runs to do. Duality is very overwhelming at times, because you have to keep track of so many countdowns, so many things at once. If you're in the Nightmare realm, you have to go back to the normal realm. You gotta make sure you don't have the buff or else you die, and all that stuff, all that wonderful stuff that's going on. But yeah, this is pretty chill, because all you have to do is focus on Arctrition, which if you lose it, you don't die. It's not an instant wipe. You can just kill a Minotaur and get that buff yet again. So I'm going through here, I'm looking at the nodes, shooting at them once I have Arctrition. The benefit of this is that it adds a few seconds onto your buff if you do hit one of these nodes and connect them successfully. But yeah, I enjoyed this dungeon. Apart from a few tricky moments which involve the boss room at the very end, the boss room can get a bit overwhelming, but there is a good way of controlling it. And it's purely controlling the supplicants, controlling how far the boss is away from you, and making sure you have a good amount of distance between you and the boss. Otherwise, it does this terrifying 45-degree angle leap and slam down towards you that could insta-kill you, even if you're on a freaking Titan, like myself on Solar class. But yeah, be sure here, folks, to get the last 4 nodes in the center at the very last bit of this encounter, because you don't want the explosive supplicants to be spawning in. And this prevents them from spawning in, which is very helpful. This is well known by the Destiny 2 community. This is not my tech at all, so I do not take credit for any of this stuff. These are techniques that I've seen other people do in these dungeon runs, and I do not want to take credit for that, folks. But yeah, now we make our way down. I went down the ramp there in a safe way. It really is preference. You know, I feel like I fall down all the time and plunge to my death on that section. So you don't have to do that like I did, but that is a very safe option of falling down that ramp. Otherwise, you should be good moving forward, going down this red area here. That's the way out, and here we go. We start immediately with this dungeon, a platforming section, and begin the ascent. But yeah, folks, this is going to be my last Destiny 2 season, and I've been saying that for a while now. I just know that I was done with the grind, but don't get me wrong, the people that I played with all throughout this past, what was it, a year and 4 months since the beginning of Season of the Lost, when crossplay happened, which was a great decision on Bungie's part, because then you can play with your friends on different consoles, you can play with them on PC, and it doesn't really matter. And I think that's the future of gaming. It allows people to play together that feel like they don't have the opportunity to, and all it requires is an internet connection and sometimes a subscription based on your console, or if you're on PC, which I really hope they don't add prices to play online for PC. I don't see that happening in the not too distant future, but hopefully it stays consistent. But yeah, I will go for the Hydra there. I annihilate the Hydra with the Sleeper Simulant, and I move my way across the platforms ever so carefully, even though I am on Titan, which has the best jump. Which, by the way, I have high lift here. I know some people have different preferences for jumps. High lift is just what I'm used to, and I didn't feel like changing it to something more efficient objectively for this segment, because, again, I was used to high lift. So I know there's going to be a great amount of people being like, high lift is shit. You should change it to something else. Titan is way better for other forms of jumping besides high lift. It really doesn't matter. Okay, it's personal preference, folks. The other thing that you're going to see me do here is I'm traversing this area normally. I'm not using any of the sword tech, the sword skipping or skating or what have you that you see on YouTube these days. I'm just going through normally because, again, it's preference. And I felt that for some folks who are not familiar with that tech, that they'll be able to look at this video and find a very safe way to traverse this area. Even though technically sword skipping is probably the safest way if you know what you're doing. But yeah, I'm moving through here, making my way to the first encounter, which is very simple. There's no bosses. There's no need to worry about DPS in that first encounter here where you actually do get loot. You can move through accordingly. And while I'm talking through this part, while this part is playing in the background, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about just my whole Destiny 2 journey in general, and my plans for until I finally uninstall this game for good. So right now, I decided to go through on Titan for all of the dungeons, and I do want to complete a solo flawless run for each of these dungeons. And starting, of course, with Spire, I'll be running the Solar Titan with Laurelie to provide me some infinite survivability, except, of course, when there's going to be supplicants in the room. If there's any more than one supplicant right next to one another, and if you're standing smack dab next to them, you will die instantly. Trust me, folks, this has happened to me many times on this attempt, and on my subsequent attempts, of course, except for the successful run that I'm showing in this video. But yeah, this is very straightforward. You don't really have to worry about any of these enemies, with the exception of trying to get some healing wells from them. But yeah, I'm just simply going for the nodes. I'm going to open up the next elevator to make my ascent up the tower, the Spire of the Watcher. Wahaha. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, I'm done with MMOs, I think. I'm done with, waiting for patches, waiting for things to change. I hate the fact that when you leave, you go on vacation for a week and a half, you come back and the game has changed. Like Destiny 2 and other MMOs. It's really frustrating. So I'm going to stick with co-op games, I'm going to stick with single-player games as I have before in the past. Because Destiny 2 just really isn't... It's not conducive to my lifestyle. I mean, I work a full-time job, I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor, I'm a husband, I'm a doggy dad, I'm a brother, I'm a son, there's so many hats you can wear, I'm friends to people. there's so much time you have to divide up in many areas of your life that, you know, to devote so much time to an MMO, it's a tall order, especially a game like this that is heavy on the grind. So, as I've learned the past, you know, year and 4 months or so. But again, things were different when I started this. Things were different in the world. You know, the world was not as open as it is right now. Things were starting to get open as you know, the pandemic improved, as things have improved, which I don't really understand why YouTube flags things like the pandemic from people's videos. We should really make it open to talk about these things. That's the problem. People don't want to talk about them. It causes too much fuss, it causes too much arguments, but people need to have these conversations in order to develop something. You know, and be open to talking about things like this. I mean, it's similar to such heavy topics like racism. You know, it's something that exists. It's something that's prominent. It's, you know, especially in the systems. And people need to talk about it so we can improve the world, so we can improve people and their accessibility and making change and trying to even the playing field for a lot of folks. But anyway, I digress. We'll stick with Destiny 2 from now on. Which is funny because, you know, as I'm recording this commentary, this is the day where people discovered that their Triumph seals were disappearing when they logged in. And a week ago, I think it was a week ago or so, people's characters were completely gone. It's really funny seeing these changes, folks. And this is a prime example why sticking with an MMO is just exhausting. And I get the other side of it. I get the other side for monetary gain, for these YouTubers, for these streamers who stick with Destiny 2, but I also see the exhaustion, the fatigue. You know, and I only played this game for a year and 4 months, and I'm done. I can't do it anymore. You know, people like Datto, people like Esoteric, you know, they gotta stay on this game. They gotta stay on the grind, which I'm sure they have ways of doing it, but at the same time, it's crazy. Also, be very careful when you open up this glass panel, folks. I've fallen in that little space between the balcony there, and it immediately goes to a countdown because you're out of bounds, and then it's a reset. That's happened to me on one of my runs. But anyway, this is me just clearing out some extra trash that I have in my inventory. I'm going through my armor mods. I'm showing you one more time that I am not using any seasonal mods for this entire dungeon run. Again, I am a crazy bastard. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I do. But I feel like Laura Lee is kind of cheesing it a bit. You know, Laura Lee is making things a bit too easy. So I wanted to throw in a little extra challenge there. But yeah. Anyway, the plan with Titan, I want to run Titan on the other dungeons, because I started with Titan back in the day. I started it with it day one Destiny, and I love Titan. I always have, you know, and I see the beauty of Warlock. I see the beauty of Hunter. I mean, my first solo flawless dungeons were on Hunter, for Christ's sakes, because, I mean, Hunter was amazing. The Invis, that was the best. That was the meta, and it still is. And now they even developed an exotic, a chess piece, to further improve Hunter's void invisibility skills and stuff like that. So it's crazy. It's crazy, folks. But, you know, I started with Titan. I want to end my Destiny 2 career with Titan. So I want to go through all the subclasses, as I said. You know, I want to use Stasis with the other dungeons. I want to do one Stasis run. I want to do at least one Void run. I already have 2 Solar runs that I want to do. Because Duality I want to run Solar on because Merciless, I don't know if you've seen videos on this, folks, but Merciless is absolutely cracked right now. They buffed it because it was shit before, and now it's fucking amazing. You guys need to use Merciless. I fought Galron. Galron can be easily 3-phased, you know, 3, maybe 4-phased comfortably with Merciless. And Merciless is a special weapon. It takes special ammo. It doesn't even take heavy ammo, and you're able to do something like that on Galron. This was without Weaken Clear, by the way. I'm sure with Weaken Clear, and also without Solo Operative, too. I wasn't running Solo Operative on that section of the dungeon, and I was still able to get that much damage off of Galron. So that is freaking amazing. You guys need to do that. But anyway, folks, with this, I'm just going through. You'll memorize where all the nodes are. You'll memorize where everything is, you know, as you run it so many times like me. This boss in particular, you need to worry about, especially with my Titan build, in order to improve the restoration and the radiance that I have, I need to make sure that there's an ad coming my way like it is now, and I kill it with my hammer. Now, this is an unfortunate circumstance where I unfortunately kill the ad with my trace rifle, so I can't get the hammer. But if you hit the boss like I did just then, you hit the boss right smack dab in the eye, you'll get some radiance. Now, you won't get the solar weapon boost because you need a well off the ground off of a elemental kill. Like with, depending on what you're using, if you have elemental armaments, you'll get, a solar weapon kill, you'll get a well spawned in. But for me, I just have the hammer kill well, like you saw just then. So that gives me the solar weapon boost. You get that, you get radiance. You'll get about, on Sleeper, I got about, 130,000 damage per crit hit, which is pretty darn good given the fact that I don't have Solar Operative on, I don't have Weaken Clear on. So it was pretty darn good damage, all things considered. But yeah, folks, MMOs. I am burnt out of MMOs. And there's so many other games that I want to play. I want to play Street Fighter V again. You know, I hopped on and off of that in between seasons of Destiny, and I really want to devote my time so I can get my my main Cammy up to Gold League, and I'm hoping to do that before Street Fighter VI comes out in June. So that'll motivate me. Yeah, ideally my timeline is to get the remaining dungeons done solo flawlessly on Titan, with my multiple classes. You know, with all the different builds. You know, Stasis, Void, Arc. I want to run Arc on the on Prophecy. I think that would be fun. Because Prophecy still, in my opinion, is probably the most challenging dungeon. Purely because of all the ads, the taken ads. You have to be very quick, you have to move around constantly, you have to watch out for the arc damage. But with taken spec, and I'm thinking I will run Risk Runner, and then of course Infinite Grenade build on Titan for arc. And then I might put on Hothead for the first boss. But we'll see. Because yeah, linears are definitely good for the final boss. Because then you can get headshots off of his big head. And the boss, you know, in the very first boss of that dungeon is pretty beefy. So a rocket launcher would probably be best. But again, it's all personal preference, folks. You also can't make everybody happy when you're uploading videos. You know, some people are going to have their preferences, but you know, and their gameplay styles. Like, for example, with me choosing high lift on a Titan, you know, for their jump. Not a lot of people are going to agree with that. Objectively, it's probably the worst decision, which I fully accept, but I'm familiar with how it works. And if I were to change my jump last minute while I'm going for these solo flawless runs, it would screw me up. But yeah, folks. It's not about making everybody happy, it's about doing what's comfortable for you. It's about having fun, most importantly, because, you know, this is a game, you're playing it for fun at its heart. Competing is fun, winning is fun, of course it is. You know, I'm not saying that we shouldn't all compete, I'm not saying that, you know, medals should not exist or anything like that, and everybody gets a participation trophy, mumbo jumbo, and all that bullshit. No. I'm saying at its core, have fun with the game, and then compete after, right? But hopefully this segment here, see, look at the ad in front of me. I went for the goblin's head, and then it followed me indefinitely. So I get about 130k of damage with each crit on Sleeper, which is pretty darn good. And I have the aspect on for Solar that increases the duration of Solar Weapon Boost and Radiance if, or not Solar Weapon Boost, I apologize. For Restoration and Radiance, if I kill somebody with either my Solar Weapon or with a Solar ability. So that helps a lot. That damage phase was a bit better. I don't run up to the front of the boss because I found myself dying instantly. He boops me off the edge, he boops me too far back, I hit the pillar in the back, I hit, the freaking grating, and it was too risky for me. So I crouch down, and I keep firing as he moves back. But yeah, rinse and repeat. This is going to be a comfortable maybe 8 or 10 phases, which is why I'm commenting, folks. This is a long run, and it can be arduous at times, so this is why I'm doing my commentary, so that way you guys can enjoy something as we're going through here and watching the footage. So yeah. Rinse and repeat, get your radiance up, get your roaring flames procced and going, and you should be all good, folks. But yeah, what games have you guys all been playing? In the comments, if you wanna comment, if you're sticking with me this long, about 21 minutes into this run, if you're still entertained. What sort of games have you been playing? Because, Street Fighter V is gonna be, my goal after this game is done. I'm gonna try to platinum Code Veronica, despite me hating that game. I did not like Code Veronica for Resident Evil. I wanted to give it a chance because, it was Claire, it was Chris, it was an interesting way of going about the series, but I ended up not liking it. And I thought, I'm pretty sure it's because of the character management. I hated how the characters swapped, which I get they were going for a different, mechanic there, but at the same time, it turned out to be stressful. Because I ended up, in the very end of that game, I ended up putting all my good weapons on Claire, which I did a rolling save, so it was easy to go back to a previous save and switch it up for Chris. But I expected Claire to be the one who fights the final boss and not deal with the stupid Steve crap at the end of the game. It was kind of annoying. But yeah. I hope they remake that game. I really do, because I hope they would improve it and make it better. Eliminate the things that are, remove the things that are bad, keep the things that are good. And yeah, here's another damage phase boss, boys and girls. Let's see how well I do. I'm going for the eyes. Trace rifles, by the way, this is why I leveled up this gun for Retrace Path, because it was solar. I wanted to keep my solar elements going, and it's really quick to pop the eyes on this boss. Now I'm going for those crits. I get 4 consistent crits every time, which is good. That's a 5th one. That's a 6th miss. That's a... There we go. I got 2 in there. That was pretty good. Look, almost at half HP. That's what happens when you actually hit your crits with Sleeper. You do pretty good damage with that gun. It's still really good. Ever since the buff in Season of the Lost with the linear fusions. But yeah. Characters disappearing in Destiny 2. That is just so funny. You think of it and it happens in this game. Like the ridiculous things that happen. But yeah. No MMOs for me after this, I think. I think that's going to be something I'm going to avoid. But yeah, with the Vogue entrance with the Vex, if you destroy the Minotaur heads, as I talked about in my previous vid, maybe about a year or so ago, you can have them chase after you indefinitely, and it really helps with proccing your solar weapon boost, your damage boost in this when you get a well, after using your hammer to kill one. So that can be very useful, folks. But yeah. And we're moving forward in this game. I'm occasionally using my grenade launcher that blinds. I've got a Malicious Birthright with auto-loading holster and blinding nades. I've also got heavy, heavy ammo drop. Whatever heavy ammo that drops, it grants special ammo for my Malicious Birthright, which is a really good roll. And yeah, I'm quite certain that is a god roll, because I did get that in one of the Grandmasters last season, which is quite fun. But yeah, it's exhausting with this game. Don't get me wrong, I loved playing with my friends, I loved enjoying the dungeons, the raids, when we could, but it's exhausting keeping up with a game like this. And I can only imagine what it's like being a streamer. Like, granted, they get paid you know, a lot of money, a bunch of money for doing something like this, which I'm sure helps. And at the end of the day, it is a job, even if they do enjoy it. But still, having to play this game indefinitely, a game that's not going to end anytime soon, past like 5 or so years, and now they have a 10-year plan, Bungie does, and they're not planning on making a Destiny 3 anytime soon, they're just going to keep adding expansions. That's quite exhausting, folks. I don't know how people can do something like that. You know, I have so many games that are collecting dust right now on my hard drive, Doom Eternal being one of those. You know, I've got a few games I want to play with my friend Omni Griffin. You know, he's a good friend of mine from high school. Definitely check out his channel when you can. I think he streams quite often. So see, this time I did not get the kill from an ad, and instead I only could throw my hammer at the boss, so I only get 104k damage there. And I'm missing all my crits. Look at all that. I'm missing so freaking much. Gosh. There's one crit. That was 83k because I lost the Radiance. And now we're going back. So not very good damage, because again I was only hitting 100k damage at that point. So we press on. And I move forward with my trace rifle. But yeah, folks, playing a game like this is so exhausting. And Bungie even lessened the cap for Grandmasters, which was quite funny. Which makes it easier to play with friends, in my opinion, because not a lot of people have time to play a game like this. You know, I want to be able to leave a game the way it is, come back and have my save the way it was, the weapons I have, the weapons meaning something still and not being lower power, or me having to go through a power level grind. You can tell I'm pretty burnt out by this game. And a few of my other friends are as well. Glass Gunslinger being one of them. Holy Paladin being another. You know, we played a lot. Killer Elite, though, he's going strong still. He got Lightfall pre-ordered, I'm pretty sure, and he's ready to go. Which, good for him, because he's got a really consistent clan and raid group going, and he'll keep enjoying the expansions, I'm sure, which is great, you know. The most important thing is you enjoy it. So, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun playing with them. And Badger Bomber too, you know, Zorp and Bunny and Curb, all of them as well. Playing through all the raids, playing through a few Grandmasters with them. That's where the fun comes in this game, is being able to pick up and do things like that. But of course, to play the higher level content, to play the more challenging content, you've got to put in the grind. And it's quite a lot, folks. But yeah. My upstairs neighbor right now is doing something with his office. I have no idea what it is, but it's causing a lot of ruckus. I have no idea. But then again, I am talking with headphones in, so maybe I'm talking louder than normal and he's trying to tell me to stop. I find it funny. You gotta laugh, or else you'll cry at the end of the day. That's the way I think of when I'm a counselor, you know, and I hear all these terrible stories. Alright, so we're going for the eyes again, using the trace rifle. I'm going a little slower this time, but we have plenty of enemies to get a damage buff. Look at that bonus, 130k, 130k, boom, boom, boom. Can you imagine if Sleeper was still nerfed at this point with only 3 in a clip? That would be terrible. That was a crit there. That was another crit. That was pretty darn good. Me getting those 2 crits at the end, look at the damage I did there. That was not so bad at all. Only maybe 3 phases to go or so. I'm telling you, folks, you don't have to do it this way. You don't have to play without seasonal mods. It works, but it is nowhere near as efficient. Also with Void Hunter and using the triple tether, that can be very useful for boss damage. And it provides a weakening buff as well, so that'll be good. That was me throwing my hammer across the the map there, and now I'm getting a little impatient, and I'm using Sleeper on a freaking Minotaur. Which reminds me, folks, I did not know this in all the time that I've been playing Destiny 2. If you have special ammo weapons out, you're granted more heavy ammo. Depending on the finders you have, depending on what you have equipped, right, with your mods. But if you have a heavy ammo using weapon out, you're likely to get special ammo, just like I did just then. See that? And that was something I did not know until this point. Call me an idiot, call me senile, an old man, what have you, but I did not know until that point, and that helped me throughout this dungeon run to get more ammo, folks. So I hope that helps you, because I had no idea. I thought it was just based on finders. I did not think you could cheese the system like that by having a weapon out to get certain ammo, or to, you know, manipulate the system like that, but you can. You can do that now, which is pretty awesome. So yeah. You know, get ready as soon as you're down to 1 tower or so, start to behead a lot of Vex, so that way they indefinitely chase you. And that should help you with your run, and help you get some kills when you're trying to do boss damage. There have been times, though, where the boss cock-blocked me on my way to the other platform, and I've fallen. But that was during one of my failed attempts. I was quite pissed. So occasionally that can happen. It's few and far in between that does happen, but try to avoid doing that, you know. But yeah, I wonder what they're going to do with Lightfall, which I am going to watch on YouTube, because I am not going to play myself. And I'll follow the lore and the story that way, and see what the conclusion is, because I do not want to be a part of it. As fun as it looks. Now look at all these Vex that I have on my ass right now. This is great. I'm going to have, you know, a ton of damage bonuses here. You know, even when I pop the eyes here too, it helps with the trace rifle damage you do. So yeah, 130, 130, 130, boom, boom. Got all my crit shots there. I move up a little further, boom. That was killing a Minotaur to get him on my way. Boom, another one, boom, another one. That was really good freaking damage. Look at that again. I'm hitting the crits. Another one, 80k. The Radiance expired then, and I still had a good crit. So I believe if I get a few enemies by me on the next boss phase, this should be the last one. If not, I'll have a tiny, probably a pixel of health left on the boss to kill him. And then we can move forward. Because yeah, folks, this is an endurance run. This entire encounter is endurance, endurance, endurance. So if you like marathon runs like I do, in my free time, you know, that I do, you'll love something like this in a video game. 'Cause yeah, I have run the Chicago Marathon a lot before in the past. Now, I'm not too sold on it because the training you have to put in, the time you have to put in is astronomical. But I think I'm going to do shorter races from here on out. And try to just enjoy running again, because marathons really make you hate running, folks. You run so much, so often, and I felt burnt out after the last marathon. But yeah, moving forward, hopping from one platform to the next, going for the nodes. But yeah, with a lot of games coming out, we're getting a lot of remakes recently. I'm very excited for RE4 remake. That's going to be around the corner pretty soon. That's going to come out at the end of March. I think it was March 24th. Killer Elite and I were talking about that the other day while we were playing Destiny, going for the Grandmasters. Pretty excited for that one, but also very reluctant, because I don't know what they're going to do about it. The third game, they really fucked up. They deleted they removed a lot of content in that game, which was upsetting. and just the mechanics of it were not as good either. I was very upset about it. I did a challenge run for that game just like I did with RE2 Remake, but RE2 is a vastly better game than RE3 Remake. And I hope RE4 is not terrible, but we shall see, folks. Alright, this might be the last boss damage phase, and I do have a convenient Vex Goblin firing at me, a headless one in front of me. I proc the restoration because my Loreley, I've got two Vex Goblins in front. I can get the 130k damage. Look at that. Boom, boom, and boom. Reload. Am I gonna end it here? Let's see. That is the end. That's the first boss. He is dead. He explodes. Stay away from the explosion. I don't know if that can kill you, but I do not plan on trying, nor do I recommend you trying that on a solo flawless run. And now we make our way in. And the next run killer that is going to happen is the fans. But there is a way of getting through this that I discovered. After I died, I think it was the run before this that I died on. And I learned a good pattern that was comfortable for me. Again, it's different for everybody. And, you know, it is different for every player that approaches this. And it's best to find what's most comfortable for you, but this could help you. So I would recommend following what I do as well. And I know Esoteric posted a very good, helpful method of traversing the fans in a safe manner. Because there's a way of jumping all the way down in one of the crevices. But I didn't want to approach it that way because I wasn't quite used to that. So you'll see what I do here. It's a little different. And I'm sure a lot of people know about it because this game is played by many. So, go for the Minotaur, head over here. You can have clear line of sight on all the nodes from this point, which again is very common knowledge for this dungeon, as many guides have shown. And the last node is shot. I go down. Now here's what happens on this fan part, folks. So I make sure I'm crouched here so I don't get my head chopped off from that fan above. I fall with the fan. You fall in the direction of the fan. Now what I do here is I go to this platform right here, these skinny rods. You won't fall in between them. And I aim for the vent itself, right there. I fall with the fan. I stop myself, I slide right in. Boom. That's what you do. Now, of course, doing that and getting the hang of it is more important than, you know, watching a video on it. As with all video games, right, folks? You see a guide on it, you think, oh, it's very easy, but you try to replicate it yourself, and sometimes it can be challenging. Other times it's not so challenging. So finding that comfort zone, finding that comfort level for you is very important. So now I'm killing some enemies, I'm blinding them with nades, going down, using my hammer, killing the explosive goblins there. And now the Minotaur is going to spawn in. So now I head back up, use my hammer again, I'll get infinite restoration. Nothing can stop me now in this room. Very confident, very comfortable, I'm radiant. We've got elemental time dilation on. I killed the Minotaur. Now we head over to this area here. Which the Minotaur, I was a little confused there because the Minotaur ran all the way over there and usually he spawns at the end of the room. So I'm like, wait, no, this is where I gotta stand to see all the nodes. And there's the last node. Now we've opened it and we're all set. I fire a blinding nade just in case. And we hop on down. Going through the vents. Boom. Making sure you're crouched there in case you get your head chopped off. Now we're going with the fan blades. I hop to this platform here. And now I'm going to do exactly what I did before. Move to this platform there, right to the vent with the blades. And boom. That's that area. Those are the fans done. And that is the next point where you're going to feel like your run is going to die. So the electricity there, the AoE on that electricity is kind of finicky. So wait until it disappears all the way before you jump through. That's my recommendation. Because yeah, on runs where I've ran it with other folks, a few of my friends, whether it was Glass, Killer, Holy, or Badger, you know, I've always found that I've hit that electricity sometimes thinking that I didn't, and then I died. So be very careful of that. Go for the Minotaur. It seems like the timing on this is quicker, but you have a little more time than you think, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I go for the Arctrician. I nail that Minotaur. I hop over. I'm looking for the node in the back, and the Hydra's kind of cock-blocking me from it. So I'm looking for it right there. There it is. Boom. There's that node next to me. Boom. There. Boom. Now we hop over, go for that one. And now there's one more that you got to be very fast on. You hop over here, and boom. There it is. Look, my aim was shit there, but I was still able to get it. So the timing is not too bad at all, as long as you're quick. And now all we have between us and the solo flawless completion is the final boss, who is a pain in the ass. This is probably the second run killer because of the boss's dive bomb attack and the supplicants that are in this room. But there is a very helpful critique, not a critique, I can't speak English today, a helpful method with the supplicants and controlling that. So that way you feel confident, you feel cool about it, you feel you can take on this. So the first thing you're going to see me doing is I'm going to put on Wither. I'm going to switch my mods up to Charged with Light mods. And I'm going to allocate rocket launcher damage. So I'm putting on Supercharged on my helmet there. I've got Rocket Launcher Finder on. I've got my arms on with Supercharged. So that way I can go up to ×5 of Charged with Light. I've got Void Resistance on from the boss. I'm going to put on Elemental Wells to charge me with light. So the only way I can get Wells is through hammer kills, folks. And then finally I put on Argent Ordnance, which gives you faster rocket launcher reload, and it gives you more damage on each rocket per stack of Charged with Light that you get, which is very helpful. Especially for a boss like this where it's very hard to hit the crit with a linear. Now if you, by all means, can hit that crit with a linear, with your nerves on a solo flawless, bouncing around, with your heartbeat pounding against your chest, by all means, go for it. I cannot. I was too shaky on my aim, and it was better for me to use a rocket, especially a rocket with, such as Bump in the Night with Chill Clip. And with my roll, I've got enhanced autoloading holster, and I've got enhanced chill clip, which helps immensely. Alright, folks. So now we're going into this back room here, because there's not going to be any ads or supplicants spawning into this room in the very beginning. And we immediately go for the 2 Hydras to initiate the spawning of the Minotaurs. And this pattern is going to repeat many times, especially if you're not using solo operative and you're not using weaken clear like I am. So I go for the Minotaur. There's gonna be supplicants down there. They usually group up depending on the side that you're starting on in that little corner, so a Wither shot right there can make short work of them, and it works nicely. So I'm heading over there. I head for the nodes. The door is open now. Now once you destroy the supplicants on this side and the door is open, they will no longer spawn in that room, in the room that you start in. They will just spawn in this back room with the reactor, which is very important to know, especially if you're going for a solo flawless run like I am. Because yeah, it's about management, it's about crowd control, this final boss room. It's about staying alive and avoiding the boss's dive bomb attacks and keeping a lot of space between you and the boss. And that's one arc node circuit completed. Another thing to practice is practicing getting a checkpoint on the final boss and going through this room yourself. Familiarizing yourself with all the nodes, where they are, where the supplicants spawn in exactly. And you can wither a lot of them upon spawn, which is great. I also have healing nades on here too, because I didn't want to take any chances. And I'm pretty sure the boss just did a dive bomb, a 45-degree dive bomb attack on me just then. So make note of that. Sometimes the boss can teleport. I think I get some footage of him teleporting, and it scares the absolute bejesus out of me. So definitely keep that in mind when you're moving forward here. But yeah, folks, we are pressing on, and we're moving forward, getting all the nodes. There's 2 supplicants there. If you kill one with your weapons, they will not explode in front of you. Also, killing one with your hammer works wonders as well if you're on Titan like I am. All right. Moving forward, we got the first set of arc nodes completed. Make sure you have Arctrician here. Having about 10 seconds helps until the nodes show themselves, and then you'll gain more Arctrician as you fire on them. Now I just hang out back here, as you saw in my look what you gotta give vid, my teaser vid of my boss damage and how sad it is on rockets. It's not as sad as you would think, but it's still pretty sad if you don't have weaken clear or solo operative. But yeah, you have a fire team of everybody rocking 2 chill clip rockets and a Galahorn. You will make short work of this boss. It is amazing what happens. So this is me trying to get as much damage as possible, and that is 1 phase complete. Now you got to gain your bearings. This back room will still be open. I highly recommend going back here. There's going to be a few supplicants still left over from before. So kill the goblins, kill the supplicants, use your hammer. Don't miss like I did just then and nearly give me a heart attack. And now you go for the Hydras. And don't worry about using rockets here, because you're for sure going to pick up rockets if you, again, have your special ammo guns out and you kill something with your hammers, because the game will register rocket launcher ammo finder to trigger. And the fact that you have double special ammo weapons equipped. See, there's a brick right there in front of me, which is fantastic. Right now what I'm doing is I'm seeing what the heck the boss is doing. Look at him. He's just standing there. He's doing nothing. And I think if I start firing, see, look at me doing that just now. I gained his attention. And now I'm trying to control the spawn. Now there's going to be more supplicants coming in, more goblins coming in. So I try to preemptively shoot a wither in the spot that they spawn in so they explode. And now I just got the 1 Hydra over here and taking care of him. There we go. But yeah, folks, this dungeon is not... there's a lot of downtime in this dungeon. Yeah, you gotta be quick with Arctrician and stuff like that, but it's not quick to where you're gonna wipe. Like Duality, like with the bells. If you're in the Nightmare Realm and you have to get out, or the timer runs out, you're screwed. And you gotta start all over again. It's nothing like that. This is probably one of the easier dungeons. And people say that this dungeon is probably akin to Grasp of Avarice, which I like to call Grasp of Tedium, because I hate that dungeon so much, because it's so tedious, if you haven't noticed already. And, oh, look at that! Look at that right there. I don't know how I survived that. That was completely luck. That was insane. All those supplicants spawning in, I thought I was a goner. I couldn't tell you what happened just then, but maybe it was my Titan high lift that saved me, or maybe it was just pure on RNG luck, but I don't know how I survived that group of supplicants spawning in just then. That was ridiculous. But yeah, Grasp of Avarice, by the way. I am not excited to do that dungeon. It's probably the least exciting dungeon, in my opinion. I know a lot of people enjoy the Sparrow section and the diverse environments, and also being out in the light versus, the darkness of a dungeon. Which, I agree, it's a good scenery. The Cosmodrome is pretty cool. But at the same time, it's just the fact that you have to collect 60 you know, the explosive exotic engrams, and you have to deposit them in the center before you do final boss damage. And you got to do that for the whole parachute thing. I like to call it the parachute thing, but it's the fallen shield that you have to deactivate too. And then the ogre as well. It's just, it's all just a pain. And I'm definitely going to be using Weaken, Clear, and Solo Operative for that dungeon, at the very least, because I hate that dungeon so much. And I'll probably use Bubble as well on Titan. That'll be a good Void Bubble build for that, with Helm of Saint 14. So I get the Overshield and I stay alive. And I get the weapon buff damage. So I can make, hopefully, short work of the boss with Wither and a nice Void linear. A good Taipan roll with triple tap and Frenzy. Because I'm not going to have a fire team with me, obviously, so I got to use Frenzy instead. But yeah, not looking forward to Grasp of Avarice. Grasp of Tedium. I am looking forward to Shattered Throne, though, because I think that's going to be the dungeon that I use Stasis on. Because that you can do pretty well with the Snow Globe Titan build. And you can make it so you place the globe right below the Ogre's feet. And if you pop your super, I'm pretty sure he can't stomp you out of it. So that should make short work of him. And, not to mention, the mod that's out this season called Passive Guard on Glaive. So if I use Glaives, I should get some passive guard damage on me and resistance on me. So that'll be very useful too. And it's also Void for Titan, which is also useful for that Ogre room and all the Void shields for the Taken. So that's my plan for that. And that's my damage on the boss. That's, I think, phase 2. Which again, you look at it, you look how little damage you're doing without Solo Operative, and you just get sad. But alas, we're on a virtually unkillable Titan build, so we have to make it somewhat challenging for ourselves, so in this case, making it a marathon. And yeah, I think for Prophecy, as I said before, I'm going to run Arc Titan, which will be fun, and put Risk Runner on so I get resist from all the Arc damage from the Taken, and you know, obviously Rocket with Taken spec, and put on use rockets for the first boss, use linears for the second with Storm Chaser, because Storm Chaser is still cracked. I love that gun. And let's see, so that covers Void. That covers Void for yeah, because I'll do Grasp of Tedium with Void. I'll do Prophecy with Arc, which will probably be the riskiest build as well. And look at that, the boss is freaking on me just then. And the Supplicants were in that corner as I rounded the corner. So you know where they're going to be as long as you're anticipating it. Now sometimes some cheeky Supplicants can hide, and even during the boss damage phase, they'll still be hovering around out here. Of course, that only happened on my failed attempts, and that didn't happen on my successful run, so I couldn't show you proof of that, but it sometimes happens, and you have to be on your guard. Because if two group up next to you, you're dead. Even on a build like this. And look at that. He just did the stupid frickin' 45-degree slam just then, and he put me up there. I was panicking my ass off just then. But luckily the door was open, so no Supplicants are going to spawn in this room, and we're good. So now I got the Wither shot over there. I'm preemptively destroying the Supplicants. And we're going for the hardest nodes, in my opinion, on the right side, which is under that door, and you have to go down and hit the one that's to the left or to the right of the balcony there. And that puts you in a very dangerous spot, especially if the boss is firing at you from behind you. So you have to be very careful. And here's some leftover Supplicants. That one almost killed me just then, even though I was going for the nodes. That was very, very scary. And there it is again. See, he just did the 45-degree stomp. You have to watch out for that. Keep the boss distance away from you as much as possible when you can. And if you see him going up in the air like that, if you've got a hunter dodge, dodge away, go invis. If you're a warlock, good luck. Try to float away if you can. And I mean, if you're on Arc Titan, you can have the dodge, but you know, in this case, you just got to jump away. So as fast as you can. which is always fun. But yeah, this is quite the marathon, folks. We still got about 30 minutes left to go of this run, which makes sense. I mean, look at the boss damage that I'm doing here. That's from 2 phases. It's probably going to take another 2-3 phases to go past half HP. And as long as I get the wells, as long as I get radiance, it does give me a little bit of a damage buff, but not as much as you would like. I'm trying to think what I should run for Pit of Heresy. That one I'm not sure of. I think I might just run Bubble Titan for that one too. But we'll have to see. Because yeah, that final boss room is pretty risky. And you have to move around a lot. So getting a Bubble Titan in there would be useful, because then I'll get weapon buff damage on him. And that'll help me with all the explosive thrall that come out too. So we'll have to see. But yeah, we got Prophecy Arc, we got Pit of Heresy, probably Void. We've got Grasp of Tedium, Void. We've got Shattered Throne. I'm going to do Stasis for Shattered Throne. And then Duality, I'm going to do Solar build, because Merciless is freaking amazing. But yeah, Merciless might also be good on the Pit of Heresy boss, but I don't want to run Solar on so many dungeons. But we'll have to see, folks. I'll obviously decide that moving forward. But yeah, RE4 Remake. March 24th, I believe. I can actually look at my calendar to see. March 24th, Friday. That's going to be the release date of that, which is quite exciting. I don't know how it's going to be, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I believe they're going to release a demo soon as well, and I want to play the shit out of that demo if it's pretty fun. And I'm very excited to play that game on PC, because I haven't played an RE game on PC like that ever. So, because I've always wanted to go for all the platinums for RE. Like with RE Code Veronica X on PS4, I'm going for the platinum on that. The only other one I haven't gotten of the true RE series, where I am not going to play stupid Village. I'm not interested in playing Village at all, because I hated RE7. And granted, they did improve the mechanics a little bit of RE Village. I still don't have any interest in playing that game. So, but the only one I have left is RE0, which I have not played. Which I hear good things about. And it plays a lot like RE Remake, because it's all the same engine, I believe. So that's going to be nice. Because you can have it so you have modern controls, but in a fixed camera setting, which I really liked about Remake 1, and that was really cool. There's Supplicants, there's me going for the nodes. The boss is right behind me, by the way. I don't know if the boss can stomp you while you're in front of that pillar there, the little generator, but this is me flying around like a madman. I thought for sure this run was going to be a rip, but it wasn't, obviously, because this is the success run. But look at how the boss just... Look at how he's right next to me. It makes no sense. It's freaking stupid. He teleports, I'm telling you. He will teleport towards you. Also, I switched back to Malicious Birthright because I kept running out of ammo for Wither. And Malicious Birthright, if I pick up a heavy ammo brick, it gives me ammo to that gun, so it's been useful. And then I don't lose any ammo as fast. Plus you get the blinding nades, and you can't go wrong with blinding nades and endgame content. Especially in Grandmasters too. Very useful, especially for Birthplace of the Vile, and oh, that's me missing a node. Yeah, you can tell my nerves are really shot here. Like, I can't concentrate at all. I'm on autopilot right now and trying to survive. Because I know the boss is behind me. I know it's up my ass. And I just need to survive. And I'm worried about the Supplicants. Because yeah, we're now about 59 minutes in to this run, folks, and it's a long one. I mean, as you can tell, I still haven't gotten to, I think it's 4th damage phase yet. But we're getting close. And this is me looking for the dang node, and I realize that our attrition has now run out, so I gotta go kill another Minotaur. But remember, if that door is open in the center for the reactor where the boss can walk through, supplicants will not spawn in this room that I'm in right now. They will only spawn in the reactor room. Very important key information to have, if you don't know already, folks. And that has saved me many times. But yeah, we'll have to see how RE4 is. We'll have to see how Dead Space Remake is, because I know that's going to be in a couple days. That's coming out January 27th. And today is January 24th when I'm doing this recording. So I'm going to see how Seraphim17, what he thinks of it. Because I trust his opinion a lot. Even though I do love Death Stranding, and he hates Death Stranding, but, you know, it's totally fine. And that's the key here with a lot of YouTubers and their opinions, folks. You know, you can respect a lot of opinions, but you don't necessarily have to follow them, because that's your own free will. You know, I love Death Stranding, which is not a very popular opinion in the community that I follow, which I completely understand. I see both sides of the point. But I found a lot of enjoyment in that game. And at the end of the day, you're the one who's deciding to play a game that, if you love, you're not wasting any time then. So, might as well play it. Especially if you love it. And a lot of people fail to see that because society is so fixed on pleasing other people these days. Pleasing a lot of people. As opposed to finding things that are, you know, that make you happy, finding things that take care of your self-care, and all those important aspects of life. And people fail to see that a lot of times, and they think they're being selfish. When you think about it, if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of other people? That's one of the things that they taught us a lot in graduate school for my master's degree for counseling, is that if you're not taking care of others, if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of other people effectively? So you have to take care of yourself. You know, whether it's exercise, whether it's eating right, getting good sleep, all those things. Or else you're not able to step up and take care of others or make a difference in society and your job and what is important to you. It's a lot, folks. And yeah, most importantly too, doing something that you feel is worth it in your spare time. You know, especially if your job is demanding. You know, I know my job is very demanding. You know, when I have to counsel 6 clients in one day, my brain is a scrambled egg at the end of it. It's mush. I even have a hard time, you know, formulating words, you know, talking to my wife at the end of the day. And I want to be able to devote time to her. She's one of the most important aspects of my life. And if I can't do that, I get really sad. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to do what you need, so that way you can have time to improve all parts of your life. And take care of those areas too. So find things that make time, that are worth your time, everyone. And if you're forcing yourself to play a game that you don't like, now I'm a stubborn bastard. I wanted to get Triumph Seals done. I wanted to get all these things done with Destiny 2 before I finally uninstalled it. You know, and obviously the last thing I have to do now is I have to do 2 more, re-record 2 more Grandmaster runs because I fucked up the recording, and it was quite funny actually. I didn't pick up any of the audio for in-game and also for the Discord chat I was in with Killer Elite and with Glass Gunslinger because I had the audio settings mixed up on OBS. So it only picked up my voice. So I was playing with them, but you couldn't hear them and you couldn't hear the in-game audio, and I was just talking to myself practically in the recording. And that was pretty fun. But I can't have that. I gotta have a clean recording in there, especially for a final group of GMs. Luckily, we only have to do it again for Scarlet Keep and Birthplace of the Vile. So only 2 more GMs to go, practically, that I need to re-record. Otherwise, those would have been done, and then I've got to do the dungeon runs. Which right now I've been practicing Duality. I've been using Merciless, and it's been doing really well. I've just been having a lot of aggravation with the final boss room, because with the snipers, when you're doing damage to Keitel, they either yeet you, or you run out of restoration, or if you're not even on a restoration build, it's really tough. You know, I know Void builds can have some healing there. You know, you have your Overshield more so than the healing. And having that for Titan would be really useful, but of course I don't. But yeah. I'm trying to figure out that final boss room, but once I do, it should be no big deal. And yeah, the rest of the dungeons, I know what to expect. I've ran them already this season, solo, on Titan, just to get a sense of what they would be like. Even Grasp of Tedium I did once, which, you know, I was not very excited about. But with the always on time Sparrow, which I did not have for Grasp of Tedium, it was a joke doing that Sparrow section. Like, you're so fast. So, which I kind of like, because, you know, you need to get 240 spoils to get that Sparrow, and for people who actually played the raid to get it back in the day before it got yeeted to the Destiny content vault, you know, they put in a lot of time to get that Sparrow, so it needs to stand out among the other ones. But I can also understand how, you know, certain Sparrows, you know, you don't use other Sparrows once you have that Sparrow. So Bungie needs to have some sort of incentive on the other Sparrows to make them appealing again. Oh yeah, and this is me having the "this is fine" emote, and I'm taunting the boss with my ADSing because I'm just so pissed at him. He doesn't move, and I'm trying to get him to move over here to this alcove to get him so I can go to the other side of the room. And I think he's still not moving. And now, of course, as I take a step out, he's right there. I think the run is going to end. Supplicants are spawning in there. Supplicants are down there. I'm trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. You know, I'm going for the door, even though it's very risky. I don't know what Supplicants stayed alive or exploded just then. And I'm alive. And now there's one Supplicant down there. And look at that. I just took a Supplicant explosion. I've got my healing nade out. And we're good. Now we can get a breather back here. But now the enemies can spawn in here because the door is open. So now I pop my super because, you know, I'm just a paranoid bastard. And I'm just running around. I'm looking for any supplicants that are still alive. And there's none. So we're good. We get the Arctrician. There's the boss. I throw a hammer at the boss's face. That does nothing because... Oh, and look at that. The 45-degree slam. And there it is. There's the teleportation. I've got it. I knew it was in this recording somewhere, and I finally found it. There it was, folks. Did you see him recover in an instant from that slam? And now he's walking towards me again? He teleported. And now I lost my hammer, so now I'm trying to get it back in my sunspot. Because your abilities reload a little faster in a sunspot. And the boss can't crawl in those hallways on the sides, because they're too small, obviously. So all he can do is just shoot void damage at you. So just be very careful, and, you know, I've got double void resist on. But still, he can still yeet you if you stand in front of those for too long. So now he's over there. I need to bait him back out here, so I can take care of the nodes in that room. And I need to kill another Minotaur, because now I'm at 2 seconds of Arctrician. But yeah, folks, my point is that once I'm done with the remaining dungeons on my Titan, and my friends and I redo the 2 GMs that I need to re-record, that will end my Destiny 2 career. And don't get me wrong, Bungie still has that final mission on the last 2 weeks of the season. I will play that once, but then once I play that, it'll be done. Because then I'll get my full money's worth. But yeah, I unlocked all the seals for the expansions, with the exception of raids and the exception of PvP content. I did all those. I did all the seasonal seals for Season of the Lost, Season of the Risen, Season of the Haunted, Season of Plunder, Season of Seraph is done now too. So all I gotta do are the dungeon challenge runs, and I'll be completed with Destiny 2. For good. And my friend always jokes with me. He's like, you know, my friend Omni Griffin. He's like, you could just stop playing, you know. And I'm like, I'm fully aware, but I'm a stubborn bastard. I gotta get all this stuff done. My money's worth and all. But yeah, I'm excited to play. I'm probably gonna play a GTFO with him, because that's on sale currently on Steam if you guys are interested. Whoever is watching. And that's gonna be quite interesting. I'm very excited for that. So. Here's another damage phase. Look at Chill Clip though. I think 2 rockets proc the stasis shards on the boss, and then once you shatter them with your own damage, it does an extra bit of damage, and I think it does even more damage because I have Argent Ordnance on, which is very useful for rocket launcher builds. But here's the thing too, are Bungie going to remove and change the mods? Because they released accessibility to mods recently, even if you didn't have all of them. Because they're going to do some rework with the mods. And I hope it's good. You know, for the players that are going to be playing, of course. I will not be joining, but I'll be watching on YouTube. But yeah. I wonder about that. If you all think that the mods are going to be interesting, I know that they're slowly fading out the different shields and cracking those, especially in GMs. That was so annoying. I know they released adaptive munitions this expansion with Witch Queen, which was very useful. I really like that, because then you don't really have to worry about shields and certain elemental types. This is me taunting the boss again. I'm pretty sure I do this a few times, because I'm mad at him because he's not moving. He doesn't move when you want him to, and he moves when you don't need him to. Such is this game and its mystery, its joy. But yeah, quite fun, quite interesting. But yeah, this is one of my longest commentaries, I think. Been talking for about an hour and 12 minutes now. You know, full disclosure, you know, I can't talk for that constantly, but I did it in one sitting. And I am doing it in one sitting currently. It's not done yet, obviously, because we've got about 14 or so minutes left. We're getting there, folks. We've pushed the boss past its half HP mark. We probably have a good solid 3 damage phases left, if not 4. And I'm guessing it's 4 because, you know, I don't do much damage on this build without the seasonal mods. But yeah, look at that. Doors open. Supplicants will no longer be spawning in this room. I go for the Minotaur. The boss is moving to the front of the room so I can get a couple of these nodes here. But now I'm lingering too long. Look at me. I'm like shaking because I know the boss is behind me and he's going to do the dumb slam. That was me hitting. I was trying to hit the node behind the boss just then. And there we go. We got it. And now there's Supplicants in front of me. And I don't know how the fuck I don't die. But geez. Alright, we got those, we got those. Now all the nodes remaining are in this room. So we're in business, folks. That's exactly what we needed. Now I go over here. There's a Minotaur on me, so I go and kill him. Move on over. There's the node there. Come on, Sesk. There's the node. There's the node. Alright, good. There we go. Now the boss is moving left. I have to move away from him. Because if he slams you in this room, and you ricochet off one of the walls, you're dead. If not, very close. Because you will get Bungie physicsed, my friend. Alright. Moving out here. I got all the nodes out here. Now what I'm doing is baiting the boss back out here. And look at that. I still get confused in this freaking room. I was aiming for the node on the left there, and yet I knew that the node was there. See? Now I think there's just one more that we have to get. That is on the side over here. There we go. Boss is in. Reactor core is being purged. Moving to the outside. Now I need Arctrician now. Look at this. I have to move fast here. Now we go for the nodes. Go for the nodes. Node, node, node. Look at my aim. Look at my aim just being shit there. This is the nerves I'm talking about right now. My hand shaking. It's crazy, guys. It is crazy. Alright, here we go. Rocket launcher to the face. Rocket launcher to the face. He's frozen now. Rocket launcher. Boom. Look at all that extra damage from the stasis. Boom. Now he's frozen again. Doing it again. Boom. Shatter. There's another. There's the frozen. Boom. Another shatter damage. Boom. Nice. Alright. Yeah, chill clip is great. I don't know what they're going to do next, but probably something with strand weapons, I would assume. Which I don't know how that's going to work. If strand is going to be some sort of poison or what, that would be really interesting. But we'll have to see. Alright, I think I've just got about 2 more phases left. Because we're at 11 minutes. But yeah, what do you think strand weapons are going to be like, folks? What do you think the strand subclass is going to be like, too? And for Titan, of course, they're just going to add more strength, you know, fist to face as opposed to, you know, a high damage super that you just one and done, like Thunder Crash. Because I think Titans are in need for another one of those types, as a one and done super. Because right now they have a lot of fist pounding. You know, Stasis is all about pounding the ground. Solar is about pounding the ground as well. You know, you got your hammer, you got your the larger hammer that you hit the ground with. And look at that. That's why Wither is so good. Right there. All the supplicants just exploded on that side. And we got the Minotaur. Now the supplicants can still spawn in here. But if I get the nodes activated on that room, the entryway room that the boss is in right now, they will not spawn in. So that'll be useful. Alright, here we go. That's me getting a lot of special ammo, because remember, I used my heavy ammo just then. And that was useful. Here come the supplicants. They just spawned in on that ramp. This is me jumping and firing. This was really risky at the time. I don't know why I did that. I'm still up in the air right now. Alright, the door is open. That's a supplicant. I used my hammer on him. This is me running out. Alright, and we get Arctrician. But yeah, with the Strand subclass, I wonder if they're going to make some sort of poisoning on the weapons. Or if it's some kind of levitate one. You know, you make the enemies vulnerable and you levitate them. I think that's what I saw in the trailer. But yeah, I'm interested to see that in YouTube videos moving forward and how the story is going to play out. Because yeah, this entire expansion has been about Witch Queen. And then later on it became just cock tease, cock tease, cock tease for freaking Witness. Witness is coming, Witness is coming, Witness is coming. You know, and last season of The Lost was all about Witch Queen is coming, Witch Queen is coming. And that's also why I'm burnt out on Destiny, because that's pretty much the lore. Something bigger is going to come soon. Something bigger is going to come soon. We're going to talk about this for 5 seasons straight. We're going to talk about that for 6 million seasons straight. We want you to be cock-teased forever and ever and ever until the end of your life. And that's why my other games have collected dust. And I want to change that. 2023 is going to be about moving away from Destiny 2 in the very beginning and using the rest of the year to play good games that have an ending and are not MMOs. Alright, here we go. We got the reactor primed and ready for the next boss damage phase. I've got 7 seconds of Arctrician. I pop a Wither on this Minotaur. I try to kill him fast. The nodes are now opening, so we're on good time. I go for the nodes. Boom, boom, boom. That was much better. More comfortable I was there. My aim was spot on. Last time I was looking like shit, but now we're good. I try to get Radiance, and now the door is opening. Here we go. We got 8 seconds of Radiance, which helps. Boss is frozen. Look at that shatter damage too. That was all yellow just then. I think I have impact casing on my rocket, and I think if I hit his weak point in the center, it probably gives more damage. Alright, there we go. Look at that. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the last go. The last damage phase. Because we're at just under 7 minutes just now. But yeah, folks, to my understanding, I don't think, you know, I saw Dado do something like this, you know, no seasonal mods in his dungeon solo flawless on Titan. I don't know if other people are going to do anything like this, but if you do, definitely show them support, because my channel at the end of the day is something that I'm doing for fun. It's not doing anything for monetary value, it's just for, honestly, for me, to see what I've done in games, to see what I've achieved, and if it provides people entertainment, I'm very happy to do that, you know. I'm happy for people to enjoy it, but this is a way of me documenting it. I don't want to forget something like this, and show what I've done in games, because, you know, this is a hobby of mine. I really enjoy it. Outside of hearing a lot of terrible stories in my field, but also guiding people to make good decisions and support them in any way I can, you know, in the mental health field. This is a great way of unwinding at the end of the day. This is a great way of, you know, putting something towards something tangible. As I taunt the boss with my ADSing again. That's always so funny. But yeah. But anyway, folks, what I'm going to do now for this final, just before the final damage phase, is I'm going to leave you with this amazing song. And if you can guess what game it's from, all the props to you, because it's one of my favorite games of all time. Favorite series of games of all time. And for now, I'm going to leave you with this. So, thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for watching, and you take care now.
This was a clever incision by the witness. A multi-front attack. To sabotage us, glean knowledge, and annihilate any trace of advantage. Extrasolar colonies. Ages ago, Saint and I